This is PWF Empire Live.
It's the best thing going today.
The best insight and analysis on the hottest topics in the world of wrestling happens here. From storylines and news to rumors and reviews, we've got the action covered from bell to bell. Presented by PWFEmpire.com with your hosts,
Steven,
Evan Medina, and J-Dub.
do I have everybody's attention now?
The match starts now.
PWF Empire is live this Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/PWF Empire and PWFEmpire.com. The light at the end of the tunnel that is the grandest stage of them all is considerably brighter as we made a great deal of progress down this road to WrestleMania. And since this is a road to WrestleMania, I'm officially kicking off the PWF Empire road trip. Thank you to the viewers and listeners for joining us on this journey. Evan, you got a license?
I do indeed.
Alrighty, so you're driving the car. I got the music and the snacks. That's what I'm bringing. And
You got some Stevie Wonder for the music?
Yes, I got some
That's
Stevie
right.
Wonder.
All right,
Yes, some
we're good.
Summer Soft.
Woo.
Man, good stuff. Steven, all we need you to bring is your sunny disposition.
I don't know what to make of that.
See that warm smile? It's very inviting. That's all we need from you. You got it.
Well, I'll be sure not to bring that up.
Alrighty, guys. So as I said, thank you for tuning in to PWF Empire Live. We got a lot of stuff to talk about on the show tonight. We have Shane McMahon returning to WWE. We got a lot of development as to what we're going to see at WrestleMania 32, and let's go ahead and get started with our top story of the week. We're wasting no time jumping right into this. After a 6-year absence from WWE, Shane McMahon made a shocking return to Monday Night Raw and immediately kicked off a power struggle over the family business. The story is that some deal was cut years ago that preserved Shane's place in the line of succession for control of the company, and Shane wanted to use that weapon in his arsenal right then and there on Monday Night Raw in my hometown of Detroit, Michigan, because he wanted to conduct a hostile takeover of Monday Night Raw, snatching the flagship brand away from Stephanie and Vince, who he blames for running the company into the ground. We'll get to the plan on how Shane is going to accomplish what it is that he wants to and the WrestleMania implications a little bit later on in the show, but the mere fact that Shane McMahon is back in WWE, that's definitely worth discussing in and of itself. So let's discuss.
Shane McMahon was one of my first ever favorites as a kid. I mean, I had weird favorites, so take that as a grain of salt. But I'm really glad to see him back. It feels a lot longer than 6 years. It feels more like 10. And maybe that's because he didn't really do much on TV his last few years in the company. Mm-hmm. But it feels like a long time. And to see him back was awesome. He looks very old, I must say. He's only, 46? Same age almost as Chris Jericho, who to me looks night and day. I think Shane has to hit that DDP yoga, especially
I'm sure if he's trying to keep up with Chris Jericho, he has to hit something else, but I digress.
But
I didn't mean like that sounded like I meant drugs. I didn't mean that. You know?
Well, you mean like a heckling fan near your limo or something?
If that keeps you young, then shit, I say go for it. If that's a fountain of youth knocking a motherfucker out every now and again, then why not?
I think it's really just the hair that makes him look older. Like, honestly, face-wise, he doesn't really look that... I mean, he does look older, but not... Like, if you dye his hair darker like it used to be, I don't really think he'd look as different. You know, it's just the fact... Like, I mean, his hair was going gray a while ago anyway, but now it's, like, completely... So it was just like, oh my god.
You know what? He should go for like the salt and pepper look, or you know those really dignified guys that have like the black hair and then just have like this part gray right there. He should go for that. But now that we're done giving Shane McMahon fashion tips and all of that good stuff, yeah, he's back in WWE. This was a complete shocker to me, and I wish I was recording when it happened because I went ballistic. This is one of those great moments in wrestling where we had absolutely no indication at all that we were going to get a surprise in that moment, and that surprise would be Shane McMahon. Like, holy shit.
Well, I mean,
that was absolutely
only if
insane.
you don't go on the internet, you had no indication, because those of us who can't help ourselves, we kind of knew that something was going on.
Did it actually leak out that it was going to be Shane?
Not that it was going to be Shane, no, but that there was going to be a big surprise in the opening.
Man, I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, I'm not really much of a dirt sheet guy, so for me, I don't usually check them, so I'm very glad I didn't see anything about it, because I do have a few things on Facebook or Twitter that I follow that sometimes put up articles from the dirt sheets. So, you never know if I was going to happen to see that, but I'm really glad I didn't, because then if you know there's going to be a surprise, you're not going to be as surprised when said surprise happens. But I stood straight up as soon as Shane's music hit. I was just in a state of complete shock, like, oh my god, I can't believe this. Like, it's just amazing that it's been so many years, but so glad he's back. And it was just, the crowd's reaction just made it that much cooler too. Like, it made me just like feel like a kid again. It was a cool moment, really cool moment.
Yeah, my city definitely made me proud with that reaction to Shane McMahon. But I want to look at this in a larger sense, because I'm I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm a radical thinker. It's just that I love to go against the status quo, and you'll see me many times on this show propose different things to shake the foundation of WWE. For example, going back to when Ronda Rousey made those comments talking about how she wanted to be Divas Champion. I created a whole damn storyline for WWE to base off of those very short comments. Then you had the moment at Survivor Series, or just the entire situation of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins getting injured and having to vacate the title. Like, I always look for these moments that cause like a paradigm shift in WWE, that causes them to do things differently. Because it's one thing for us to sit here and say, you know what, I wish the creative team would stop being fucking idiots and actually become creative. But for me, I look for a story in everything. So if there is an established status quo for WWE, I want to see something on screen that signals a change, something on screen that makes the viewers go, okay, we really need to start paying attention right now. Okay, like, shit is really going to change. And WWE created that moment with Shane McMahon on TV. That definitely was one of those moments where people were like, oh shit, it's about to go down. And that's why I love that moment so much. And I'm glad that Shane was the focus of it.
Yeah, and you can attribute a lot of that to the fact that they were kind of breaking down their own barriers. They were making it feel like it was beyond the parameters of just a wrestling storyline. They were looking at this on the perspective of the entire company. Like, oh, I want this. Like, I loved when Shane said, I want this to be around for the 7th and 8th and 9th generation. Like, he truly is like saying, hey, this business is not going in the right direction, which is just something that so many of us fans can relate to so well. So they really hit on the on all the notes when it came to making the fans understand and get behind what Shane was saying, because it was more than just the parameters of a normal storyline. They made it about the company, and that's what makes things feel more edgy. All they have to do is slap on the label of this is about the company, and now people look at it as more of a legitimate storyline, because it mimics real life a lot more than some hokey romance stuff. So
well, hold
that
on
was
now, like hold on. I like that hokey romance stuff sometimes. Don't do. You want to talk about that? Was something straight out of a soap opera. What we saw in that opening segment of Monday Night Raw. Shit, I forgot I was watching wrestling. I thought I had flipped to The Young and the Restless, and Victor Newman and Nick Newman were in the ring battling over Newman Enterprises.
See, that's fine, though. That's an angle of where it can feel like a soap opera, and that's a soap opera storyline that someone would be interested in. Some hokey, over-the-top love stuff is a little less intriguing, at least for someone like myself. Anyway, I really like that even Vince, dropped. I don't know if he really did drop an F-bomb or not, but the fact that
shout out to Logan. He was actually he's a viewer of the show. He was in the arena watching it live, and basically Vince said, "I can't wait to give you another fucking beating." Like he said, "Fucking beating."
That's unreal.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess it's like this story where Vince is he's booking himself as an abusive dad.
But see,
have you ever heard that word? We have though, right? Have we ever heard the F word on WWE TV, even if it was censored?
There's been a few times. I mean, we've certainly seen it a lot of times with Stone Cold. I mean, he's flipped off the fans for like 15 years, so there's that. But I don't know.
Like, if we're talking about stuff that actually has been bleeped out, I'm quite sure over the years somebody has had to have said it.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where you'll see it happen in the ring, like somebody will say like "you fucking whatever" during a match or during a moment, whether their opponent botched or didn't know what they were doing in a spot that was planned out, or like there's a lot of like subtle ones, but in promos it's a rarity. But it's definitely happened before. ECW had it all the time, but then again, ECW was no limits, no ratings. So, but anyway, the fact that they made this feel edgy and out there and personal, and it has everything to do with the McMahon family, it just makes it so much more interesting. It makes everything intriguing. It instantly made me care about a half-hour promo, most of which I don't like. This one could have gone on for 10 more minutes and I probably wouldn't have cared, because it was just intriguing. It was different, and it was something we haven't seen in a long time. And what I really liked was the mentioning of Shane McMahon talking about wanting power for him, wanting to take over in order to make the product better. I think that's really cool.
Yes, and that's something that you don't see too often in WWE, because everything is about the pomp, the circumstance, the pageantry, the showmanship, the bright lights, and everything is just prim and proper and perfect in the WWE universe where WWE is concerned. But they've started to break down those walls and acknowledge what's going on the outside looking in. Well, not even necessarily on the outside looking in. Like, hell, it's their business, but it's just out there for everyone to see now. The internet is just so wide and open. We could very easily go onto a site and look up the ratings for Raw. We know that they're in the friggin' toilet. We could look at the earnings, we could look at the attendance numbers and all of that stuff. Like, we see it, it's readily available to us. So bringing that into storyline and acknowledging where you are in the year 2016 with fans quote unquote being in the know, I think that that's wonderful. And the fact that it's tied to real life also, kind of, with the relationship of Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon, because Shane has actually said himself he left WWE because the shadow that his father cast was just so large, and he wanted to advance in the company, and he couldn't do that with Vince McMahon there. Hell, Vince McMahon is 70 years old right now, still the chairman of the board of directors. He's the CEO of the company. Just every single power position available in WWE, he has it. I could understand why he couldn't breathe under that, and bringing that into storyline, great stuff.
I have two cynical things to say now, because it's mandatory that I say them. The first one is a nitpicky detail about just the logic of the storyline. So if Shane has this sort of thing over Vince's head, some unknown, unsaid bit of dirt on Vince, or some sort of deal they made, what is with the match? Why is the match necessary to take control of Raw? Can he just blackmail him like he was going to? Or
see, I think the thing is, he had? They would have to get caught up in so many years of legal battles. He was like, you know what, let's just put it all on the line in this match here.
Oh yeah, because it's a lot easier to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania than to... I mean, I know the court system in America is hopelessly fucked, but at least sometimes you win in the American court system. With The Undertaker, you've got like a 1 in 22 chance. And that's only if you're Brock Lesnar, so we'll see about that. But my second thing is, I'd never like it when WWE teases some sort of change. Like, they use what we're all thinking against us to make us think that things are gonna change, but then they just kind of never do. So another example would be the CM Punk thing, where they let Punk go on and on about all his problems with the company because they knew it would be good for TV, it'd be good for ratings, but they really didn't have any intention of doing anything about it. So I'm kind of worried this is a similar situation where Shane says, yeah, the ratings are in the toilet, where you guys are tanking the company and blah blah blah. But unless there's an accompanying actual change in the philosophy behind the scenes, this is just another one of those teases.
Yeah, you kind of have to wonder, like, if they said all of this and they're acknowledging that this is an issue, and then you decide to not do anything about it, like, what the hell was the point?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time they've done that. They've done that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, CM Punk's storyline, for example, where he wanted to be an agent of change and all that, and he technically was only wanted to be...
Or at least that's what he said.
Right, and then ultimately he was an agent of change for himself and winning the championship, but the company did not change around him. And it's like, in this storyline, in this scenario, you can see, you could at least attribute it to, yeah, Shane's gonna, get power or whatever, but is the ultimate quality of the product going to actually shift? That's what you hope would be accomplished. Can storyline also, not only does it mimic real life, it also needs to actually happen. There needs to actually be some improvements. And, if they're going to go in that direction, that's what you hope for. So, I mean, it's one of those things where you say it is kind of a because wrestling thing, in a certain way, because of the fact that, it's like there's legal battles that could have been done where Shane could have gotten quote-unquote control without there being a WrestleMania match, but then WrestleMania wouldn't be as exciting, right? Because there wouldn't be a match for it. So, I mean, it's where wrestling has to still happen. You can't make it wrestling court edition,
Yeah. Alrighty. And of course, if you'd like to chime in and share your thoughts on Shane McMahon's return to WWE or any other topic that we're going to be discussing on the show tonight, you're more than welcome to do so on Twitter with the hashtag PWFEmpire, on the post on PWFEmpire.com. And if you want to chat in real time with other viewers of PWF Empire Live and also the hosts, I'm checking out the chat right now, make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/PWFEmpire and catch PWF Empire live Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Speaking of those viewers chatting about the show, we actually got some topic suggestions from Anthony and Hoodies on Twitter. Shout out to you guys. If my damn friggin' thing would load, I could open up the fucking thing. Do you guys have the topic that we have for the brand split?
You mean like the writing?
Do you mean the writing?
Yeah, the topic that I sent you guys.
Absolutely.
You guys have that? Yeah. All right, so take it away. One of you guys, go ahead and read off that little blurb that I had.
It appears that Shane McMahon's return on Raw last night may be the first step of a revival of the brand extension. PW Insider reports that there has been a lot of talk within the company of bringing back the brand extension in some form or another, which would suggest that the stipulations of Shane McMahon versus Undertaker at WrestleMania could lead to Shane controlling Raw while the Authority controls SmackDown.
So, buy or sell on the brand extension coming back to WWE?
Sell. I will always sell a brand extension.
See, for me, it's always going to be a buy because with the way that SmackDown has zero importance right now in Raw, Vince himself saying that if Raw's gone, the whole company's gone. He literally admitted to us that SmackDown doesn't matter, which is unfortunate. And with the way that the product has been these last number of years, I don't think a brand split is going to be the cure directly, but I indirectly think that it could help to have two shows that both have some importance. If otherwise, why have two shows? And more importantly than that, the 3 hours that you do have on Raw are just not working well. So to me, to do a proper brand split, though, you would have to have Raw go back to 2 hours, and that's not going to happen. So I'm a little mixed on it, but I'm going to say more so buy because I just want to change the scenery.
Look, I remember.
I'm gonna go ahead
brand
and buy
split.
this.
You guys buy this? Come on, man. You guys don't.
Yes,
do
because
you not remember the brand split towards the end? How bad it was. How
do you
non-existent-
not remember how bad WWE is right now? Like one of my
It's
biggest
better than
complaints
it
with
was at the end of the brand split, which was
no, the hell it is not. 2015 was the worst year on record for WWE for me. Period.
Better than 2011.
No, but 2015, the worst, the bottom of the damn barrel.
Yeah,
And
okay.
one of the reasons why is because I think that everybody is just way too overexposed. One of the big issues here is that there is too much friggin' they got too much damn time on their hands.
So you want to add more time by making us watch SmackDown again?
See, that's the thing. That's the reason why you're anti-brand split. You're like, God damn, I gotta watch SmackDown.
I was actually
now.
considering watching SmackDown again because I keep seeing some good segments pop up on the YouTube channel. So I thought, well, shit, everyone keeps saying SmackDown is not important, but they seem to be doing some cool stuff on SmackDown. So maybe I should give it another chance. But honestly,
But here's my problem though. Like sometimes SmackDown feels like the bargain bin of Monday Night Raw, where it's like, oh, if it's stuff that we forget to do on Monday Night Raw, yeah, let's just throw it on SmackDown. Or they do the thing where you'll have somebody in a feud, they'll have the match on Raw, then they'll have the match on SmackDown again, and then the other person will win, and then it's a tiebreaker on Raw, and it's just like SmackDown has gotten to the point where it's way too repetitive, and it just, like I said, it's like the bargain bin of.
But look, the brand
Raw.
split was only introduced because they bought WCW. They had an influx of main event guys. Their roster was too stacked for one brand. Right now, it's the complete opposite. We have like 2 main eventers. How are you going to split that between 2 brands? There is not enough star power to sustain 2 brands. I mean, don't get me wrong.
This could possibly create new star power or create new stars.
If you want to give one brand to Paul Heyman, then I'll take it. Other than that, or even Triple H, I'll take it if Triple H runs one brand, just so I can see what the hell happens. But other than that, I'll do without it.
The thing is, like, I lost interest in SmackDown more and more over the years. Again, I can only speak for myself, but I lost interest in SmackDown as it lost out on any individual storylines that differ from Raw. And they're not even really continuing that many storylines on SmackDown. And anything to me that, would be considered a cool or interesting segment, they either replay on Raw or it really doesn't measure up to being anything at the end of the day. Like, most of the time, anything that is important from SmackDown, they will replay on Raw, even if it's a snippet of it. I don't know, and it's nothing I can't just go onto, WWE's YouTube channel and watch those couple cool segments and then just move on. Like, I don't know. I want SmackDown to actually like feature people that you don't see on Raw, because that would give me individually more reason to tune in on Thursday night.
Who are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of people who aren't featured that much on Raw or aren't featured at all on Raw. And
Do you have any specific examples? Because I feel like the roster is not robust enough to actually do what you're saying.
And why is that? One of the reasons is because they don't have an incentive to create any new stars. Like,
and those characters
they
could
have
be
plenty
big
of
enough.
incentive. They just don't give a shit. The ratings are tanking. They have all the incentive in the world.
Well, here's the thing. I think if they put SmackDown to a level of importance and actually, because it's like when you split people up, you have to have a number 1 over here. You have to have a number 1 over there. You have to have
do
2,
you
3,
remember
4,
the
and 5,
number
and things
ones
like
that we had towards the end of the brand split? We had Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler, the Great Khali. Who else? When you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, these guys become world champions. It just dilutes what it means to be a world champion. It's like printing money when you have these 2 belts with this little star power, because then you end up with world champions who are mid-carders. So I just don't see it. Like I said, look, if you give the brand to like someone competent, then I'll take it, just because I'll watch anything that Heyman writes, and I'm interested to see what Triple H can do with a TV brand. But other than that, if it's going to be like the same people in charge, I don't want to see a second brand ever again.
Well, the thing is,
we have world champion mid-carders now. I mean,
Pretty
I'm
much.
not saying not right in this moment.
Not as much. Because if you go through the past world champions, the only one that I can think of who was a problem is Sheamus. And that's not that bad of a record compared to SmackDown.
But the thing is, like, to me, I think you can take people who are decent even on Raw, like a Kevin Owens, and make him like a star of SmackDown. And like, I mean, a lot of people are interested in, say, a Kevin Owens, and they might tune into SmackDown more because they like him and because they. I mean, again, you're not going to have 2 world titles again. There's no fucking reason for that. I don't think there would ever be another reason to have 2 world titles.
But if you have a brand split, there's gonna have to be 2 world titles.
See, I don't think so because
There doesn't
I think
necessarily have to be.
Because I think that the second brand could involve other people who either aren't featured that much or just flat out aren't on Raw. And I mean, like, this is where, like, a separate division could be thrown into play. Like, that, I mean, we've all talked about there being a cruiserweight title being brought back because there's so many great cruiserweights right now. Like, that could be a piece and a function to SmackDown that could make people tune in and watch. And you could say, oh, there's not enough people that enjoy that, but there's a shit ton of people who enjoy that. And I mean, you could make somebody like Kalisto a big deal because he's featured prominently on SmackDown instead of in some 6-man tag or some match that, oh, 1 week he's featured for 15 minutes, the next week he's not featured at all.
Yeah,
like Kevin Owens wasn't even on Raw this week, for example.
He wasn't? Shit, I didn't notice.
No,
there you go.
But look, they have 3 hours, so if they're not going to feature these guys in 3-hour Raws, what makes you think that SmackDown will help? That's just adding few more out. Like, I don't know. I feel like you guys are letting nostalgia goggles blind you. Because don't get me wrong, there were good
I am
parts.
not letting nostalgia goggles
You
blind
are.
me. What I'm doing, my eyes are burning from what I see today. That's why I want to go back to the brand split.
You're looking at the brand split when it was like 2004 to 2006, which was very good. And you're forgetting, like, after that, how terrible it was and how non-existent it was and how
the product is terrible right now, Steven.
It's
product
better.
is terrible now.
I'll take today's product over that.
I will not.
2007 to 2011, in my opinion, were the dark ages. You had Cena, Batista, and Bobby Lashley on top. You didn't get anything good until 2011, where CM Punk actually did change quite a bit, because after that you actually got some interesting names on top.
I don't know. I really enjoyed the CM Punk and Jeff Hardy feud on SmackDown in 2009, so I would take that month of SmackDown over the last 5 years of SmackDown.
But that's 1 month, man.
Of course it's 1 month, and I understand that, but there was a lot more stuff going on in SmackDown at that time. I remember Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio having an Intercontinental title feud that was interesting on SmackDown.
Yeah, but that was also during that same 1 month. Which was
it was like 3 months earlier, but okay like
fine,
it's in the same calendar year. Either way, I get what you're saying. Like I that's why I said from the beginning I'm a little mixed, because I don't want Raw to still be 3 hours and then there be a brand split. I would again an ideal brand split for me would be how things were before, when it was 2 hours and 2 hours, because to me Raw being 3 hours negates the reason for there to really be a SmackDown. The problem is WWE doesn't know how to fucking book 3 hours on Monday night every week, and if they could do that consistently, then I wouldn't really care that much about a brand split, and I would probably just say might as well just can SmackDown altogether. But since they don't know how to book 3 hours, I'd rather just have shorter doses. I think 3 hours is too long for wrestling. I'm always going to feel that way.
I agree with that too. Let me just say one more thing, because I know this segment is going on a bit long. But the one thing I hated about the brand split towards the end was that, even though SmackDown was often a better brand and better booked, it still felt shitty when your favorite wrestlers got drafted to SmackDown. I remember dreading the draft, because every year my favorite dudes would just go to SmackDown, and then, okay, there goes their chance of being a top anything, because now they're on SmackDown, which is taped. And imagine the feeling of what Kevin Owens, you're saying, yeah, he'd be featured more, but Kevin Owens gets drafted to SmackDown. All of a sudden, he's not on the flagship anymore. He's on the secondary brand, which is taped, which is the secondary brand. So I don't know. It's just like, I don't want that feeling again.
Trust me, I don't want SmackDown to be taped anymore. I think the first step in SmackDown ever getting better is going to be it not being taped anymore.
All right.
But anyway, good stuff. Good talk.
Okay, our next topic here, we are going to be discussing Ryback. He made a pretty interesting character change on Monday Night Raw. He walked out on his teammates It was Big Show and Kane, I think it was. I really didn't pay attention to the match. It took me a while to realize Bray Wyatt was even in the damn match, because that's how little I cared. But apparently Bray Wyatt, yeah, he was in there, and Ryback walked off from his team. He went backstage, and he stated that he doesn't have a personal issue with Big Show or Kane. It's just that he has to take control of his own career, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. So I'm not going to necessarily call this a heel turn yet, because I know he did say he doesn't have a personal issue with them, but maybe that's just a thing where it's like he's saying he doesn't have a personal issue with them right now, and he's going to beat the shit out of them next week, and bam, that would be a heel turn. But all I know now, there's something different about Ryback, and I want to know, do you guys buy or sell it?
I remember, again, this is another Bransfield situation. I remember the last time Ryback was heel, and it was stupid. I mean, it was funny. Don't get me wrong. He made me laugh a few times, but it was as a babyface. Ryback is a commodity. As a heel, he's just another jobber, in my opinion. And if what they're gonna do is strip him of everything that makes him cool by making him heel, which I feel like they're kind of gonna do, and by that I mean
what makes him cool.
The singlet, which they got rid of. I guess he got rid of it. It looks like it was a personal choice. The catchphrases coming to the ring, the feed me more, like all the things that go into the package of Ryback that made him over as a babyface. If they're gonna do that, and they're gonna make him like serious Ryback, where he's like looking out for myself now, and we've seen this stupid gimmick 1,000 times, where like a babyface turns heel and then they just start being serious. I mean, the Dudley Boys are doing it right now anyway.
Yeah, I'm never going to be a fan of Ryback as a heel. I think he's just made to be a face with this particular gimmick, in my personal opinion. So, yeah, what we got on Raw was like, ooh, I liked what he had to say, but a heel turn, based off the last one, I'm selling the shit out of this.
Well, you know what? I like what he had to say, too. And as far as what he's going to do based off of that, we can figure it out at a later date. So I'm buying this right now, because I'm buying it for one line and one line alone. When he said that glass ceiling, that brass ring, break it and take it, I was like, goddamn, Ryback, you got a friend in me.
Well,
yeah, that was good.
He's not going to. The most he will get is he will be one of the villains on Roman Reigns' Rogue Gallery after WrestleMania, just like he was with John Cena.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, what I look at when I think of this is, man, like, look at the last time he was different. It just didn't go any. They have never really consistently booked Ryback ever. So that's where I'm just like, I can't buy anything with Ryback, because it's just never been. There's no track record of consistency with the booking, not on him so much, because he's very over when he's a babyface, and they could have taken that ball and ran with it, but
well,
they
he's
didn't.
Consistently dumb as fuck because he hurt Luke Harper.
He keeps hurting people, so yeah.
Oh God. Okay, so we're gonna revisit the topic of Shane McMahon right now. Our last buy or sell for the week is going to be this match that he is going to be competing in at a WrestleMania. So it was announced that it will be Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 32. If Shane McMahon wins this match, then he takes over control of WWE. If he loses, then I guess he just sails off into the sunset. This is a stipulation that we have going into this match. And we finally know who The Undertaker's opponent is going to be. So, do you buy or sell Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker?
I buy that so much. So much.
See.
Because for me, Shane McMahon versus Undertaker is a less predictable outcome than, say, a lot of the matches that had been rumored for Undertaker, or a lot of the matches in general. I mean, a lot of people have cited predictability as being one of the biggest issues with WWE in 2016, 15, these last few years, especially the last year and plus. And this match, it's like hard to see what the outcome will be. I mean, we can sit here and say, oh, well, Shane will definitely win and take over because that's what the direction they would go. But then Undertaker would have lost his second WrestleMania match. So that's what makes it, like, would they actually have Taker lose 2 WrestleMania matches, one being to Shane? This is going to be more of a fun match to me. So I'm all in, man.
You know the interesting thing about this? I think it was you before the show. You used the word surreal to describe this. And when you said that word, like, so many thoughts popped into my mind, because this is the very first time that Undertaker is going into a match at WrestleMania where his opponent is quote unquote bigger than he is. Because every single year at WrestleMania, it's always been about the streak, the streak, the streak, the streak. Even with last year, the streak being over, the story was still about The Undertaker. This year, the story is not The Undertaker. So it's very surreal living in this post-streak WWE and seeing the way in which they tell stories with The Undertaker, and the fact that this story isn't even about him. It's about Shane McMahon. So that's kind of weird for me, but I'm going to have to sell this because for some reason my mind can't comprehend this. Like Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell. For some reason my mind can't wrap around that. I do not think this match is going to happen. For whatever reason. Like I'm not saying that as a prediction or anything. It's just that in my mind I don't picture myself
it is weird
watching Shane McMahon versus Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell.
It is strange, but I have to admit that I love the weirdness. I love the different. I love that it's so like a match that you never saw coming. That's what I really like. That's why.
And then the thing is, it makes a lot of sense too, because if you're Vince McMahon in the world of WWE, even though The Undertaker lost, he lost one match. He's still the greatest performer in WrestleMania history, and that one person that he lost to is Brock Lesnar. And I look at Shane McMahon, I like Shane McMahon, but Shane McMahon, you are no Brock Lesnar.
Well, interesting.
Like, you're not. So if you want, like, if in Vince's mind, he wants Shane McMahon to get the shit beat out of him, Undertaker, that's a nice choice.
Well, it makes a lot more sense to say like a big. I was worried he was going to say Big Show or Kane or somebody like somebody that's
Big
like.
Show is a damn giant. So
he is a damn
Bray
giant.
Wyatt. Honestly, I thought it would be Bray Wyatt because I have no idea who Bray Wyatt's facing in WrestleMania now. But I didn't see the Undertaker coming. I'm very intrigued by this. I don't know if I like it because okay, let me say two things. I like it as a surface level thing. Like I want to see it. I'm intrigued by it, but I don't know if this can end well. Like, I don't see a way for this to end well. Because, first of all, they tease Shane running Raw. So that kind of means that if they don't deliver on that, if Shane doesn't run Raw, kind of a tease, kind of a major tease. But if he beats The Undertaker, whether it's clean, which would be the most ridiculous thing they could do, to have Shane McMahon beat The Undertaker clean, which is never going to happen. Even if it's dirty, even if someone interferes, which might happen, or Undertaker might lay down for Shane, which could happen also. Any of these scenarios just makes it sound like, okay, so what? They made Undertaker 23 or 22? Which is win count?
He's 22-1.
20. They're going to make him 22-2 for what? The blow off to one angle?
And that's where I find things interesting because there's that like there's those couple possibilities. Like, could they really go that way? I mean, I just think that's really interesting.
I like the idea of Brock Lesnar being the only person to ever beat The Undertaker.
It does take something away from Brock Lesnar's win if Taker is to lose a second match. I definitely am with you on that. Another thing I actually just got a notification for a few minutes ago via Team Stream was that Undertaker is appearing on next week's Raw. So we will hear from Undertaker, or at least see Undertaker, on next week's show.
He's going to come back like, Vince, could I talk to you for a minute? I did not agree to this. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Just breaking character and all. Like, I'm not too sure about this. Like, I actually want Shane to take over. But,
well, someone on Reddit posted a clip. They posted a clip or something of Shane McMahon saying that he holds exclusive rights to reformulate the corporate ministry. That is from like 1990 whatever. And Shane McMahon says that he's the only person who could reform the corporate ministry. So that's interesting. But like I said, even if The Undertaker lays down for him, that's kind of stupid too. Because, okay, they just hyped up a match and we don't get the match. Or they do the match and then he lays down for him. Okay, that makes no sense either. So I feel like this is an interesting match that I want to see, but they're booking themselves into a corner as far as I can tell. I don't see any way out of this that ends well. the best scenario would be Undertaker just wins, and okay, what did we get out of that? Nothing. He just beat Shane. So, whatever. I think it's going to be an interesting match because Shane McMahon, he may be 46 or whatever, but he's fucking nuts. So I think we're going to see something that's really worth seeing in this one.
The fact that it's Hell in a Cell just makes it. I can't help myself. That's an awesome WrestleMania match for me. Like I also am with you when it comes to like how does this match end and things actually work out well. That's a really gray area for me, but I'm not going to look at that for now. I just want to look at the fact that this match is even happening at all, which is exciting.
The only thing I could see that might work is if the person that interferes on Shane's behalf is someone who is worthy of pinning the Undertaker. Even if this person doesn't get the pin, the very fact that he assists Shane might help. Like if it's Sting or if it's I guess John Cena. If it's CM Punk, which will never happen, someone big. If that is the case, then I can see it being a worthwhile payoff. But other than that, I don't see how it could be good.
Another match that we're set to see at WrestleMania will be Triple H versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. We got some serious build-up with those two guys on Monday Night Raw. Triple H coming in at the end of Raw, interfering in Roman Reigns versus Sheamus. Thank you for that, by the way. And he beats the holy hell out of Roman Reigns. It happened in Detroit. That was very reminiscent of some of my, younger days. But I'm past that right now. I thought Triple H was past it too, but
did you guys know that Jay was from Detroit?
Oh yes, I actually am. Yes,
just believe like Charlotte, she's Ric Flair's daughter.
But yeah, Triple H comes back with the leather jacket and the jeans and just going completely old school game.
Triple H 02.
Yeah, all over Roman Reigns' candy ass. But yeah, he battered Roman Reigns, pummeled him. Actually, there was one point where Roman Reigns was all bloody and Triple H was just pummeling him in the damn face, and he pedigreed him on the steel steps. This was actually a Stephanie pedigree, so Triple H meant business.
What does that
Stephanie
mean?
Pedigrees.
Can you elaborate on that? I don't.
Have you seen Stephanie pedigree, Brie?
I guess so. Yeah.
Stephanie has a fucking vicious pedigree. Like, she does not let go of the arms when she pedigrees. Like, it looks like it really hurts. There's no give in that at all.
Like, you may break your neck, and this did look similar to that. It was a vicious pedigree, and it was an awesome one. I love that he used the ring bell. I love when he was smashing his face off the announce table so many times. He just was ruthless. That is the game. That is Triple H that we all love at some point or another. That is the real heel Triple H too, of just aggressive and angry, and yes, this is Triple H 2016 with 2002 Triple H in there too. It's just a blending of all Triple H in one, and this is awesome.
Now, see, here's my thing. When you say this is the real heel Triple H, I look at that moment and I say, there is no doubt in my mind whatsoever who the babyface is. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever who the face of WWE is. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever who the fuck I'm supposed to be cheering for. And the answer to all of that, Triple H, Triple H, Triple H. Because that was a fucking star.
Well, based
Whatever
off
Roman
of
Reigns was in that moment, I have no idea. But Triple H, that was a star.
Based off of the...
What are you talking about? What did Triple H... Yeah, he gave a nice beatdown, but the only reason I really like this segment is because Roman Reigns was bleeding, which it took this generic beatdown and brought it to an awesome segment because he was bleeding. So that's the power of blood. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I didn't see that Triple H did anything amazing in this segment. He just did his job, which was beat Roman Reigns up.
How did he get the blood on him?
I don't know.
Who did that?
I don't know if that was even intentional.
In storyline, Triple H did it. Like, if you have somebody, like I showed you the motion. This is Roman Reigns' face right here, pummeling the face like that. They wanted it to happen.
Do you think that was intentional? I kind of feel
yes, I actually saw the video. Byron Saxton, slid Roman Reigns a little something.
Oh, seriously? So it's okay. So I'm
Yeah.
confused. I saw that they said his nose was broken. Is that just a work or is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you got worked, Steven.
Oh,
Yeah, because they would never have had him pummeling. They would never have had him pummeling him in the face like that if he was legit like busted open that bad. At least I don't think so.
No, I did. I thought it was a blade job, but then I saw that he got nose surgery, and I'm like, oh shit, maybe it was. Maybe his nose got busted, but I guess
They got you.
they did.
Well, I'll say this much, Jay. Based off the crowd's reaction, yeah, Triple H was the baby face here because
fuck the
they're all
crowd. I'm sick of these guys.
they're all yelling Triple H, and he's just they're loving everything he's doing.
Yeah,
but, you know,
and completely in sync every time Roman Reigns' head bounces off the damn table. Yes.
yeah,
They
but
were all in on it.
isn't that more of just a reflection on the fact that people just are not into Roman Reigns? I feel that that's really the biggest thing. And, you know, honestly, I was thinking when Shane McMahon first came out in the beginning of the night that they were going to try to attach him to the main event to try to get him on Reigns' side to make the crowd, therefore, get on Reigns' side. I wouldn't have been shocked if they had gone down that path either. So that, in other words, the main event was going to be the Authority's guy, Triple H, versus Shane's guy, Roman Reigns, and the winner gets control of Raw. I honestly had that thought in my run across my mind. I didn't like it, but it definitely entered my head.
I'm pissed off that the fans are still booing Reigns because I don't know.
Can you blame them?
Yeah, I can because I don't. This is not a Daniel Bryan situation where like we desperately don't want to see Orton versus Batista or something. Like this is like I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I think this is like the amount of hate that Reigns gets is not proportional to anything really. Like WWE is not forcing him down our throat that much. It's been worse in the past, you know. They took a step back and they took a year to build him up. And so it's not that bad. Like it's not like they're pushing this guy out of the blue. He's been built up now. So we should at least welcome him. And these guys are acting like Roman Reigns is like not entertaining when they all know that the minute that Roman Reigns turns into a badass, they're going to be cheering for him. So I feel like it's disingenuous.
But
well, it's almost
yeah, you're 100% correct when you say it's disingenuous because it's like the golden boy bias. They're like, oh, well, we've hated John Cena for years. Let's go ahead and boo the shit out of Roman Reigns every single chance that we get to send the message to WWE that we don't want this guy. Like, we don't want another golden boy in the company, and we're going to do everything we can to throw every single roadblock in your way before you get the opportunity to create him in the same mold of John Cena. But even if that is the case, which I do believe it is, that doesn't take any responsibility away from Roman Reigns and the character that he's being portrayed as on TV right now, because I'll sit here and I'll say I am a Roman Reigns fan. I didn't even have to say that. You guys already know that, and I have a whole hell of a lot of issues with the way that he's booked on TV because, Steven, you said something right there. You said when this guy is booked as a badass, then he's good. The problem is, it's so intermittent. It's not consistent in any way, shape, or form. And me sitting here, I'm tired of the roller coaster.
If you reverse the roles on that Raw beatdown, they're loving what Roman Reigns is doing instead. Because if Roman Reigns bloodies Triple H, ooh, that's badass. That's awesome. Like, let's just reverse the roles. Say Triple H is in that match with Sheamus. Reigns comes out and just, beats the complete shit out of Triple H. And basically what happened at TLC. He was pissed off after he lost.
We saw it.
We saw that. And people were chanting Roman, Roman. I mean, you can't make that up. That was legitimately what was going on after that match was done. So when Roman Reigns is booked right, people like it because it's not John Cena. And I think that WWE is still feeling the repercussions from some of those terrible booking decisions they made with him in 2015. I really think they're feeling I don't think they've done a bad job with him in 2016, but I really do think they're feeling those effects from over a year ago because they're still worried, being the fans, that he's going to be the next John Cena. They aren't convinced that he's not, and you have to, if you're WWE, convince them of that. But this segment, as a standalone, was an awesome way to finish Raw because Triple H is a pissed off man because that whole night, his wife Stephanie got screwed over by her brother and his father-in-law as well. So they felt like their night was awful, and he made that promise to Stephanie earlier in the night. It might have started off bad, but I'm going to make sure it ends well. And he went out and he did what he set out to do. That was an awesome way to execute that finish. Now next week you have to have Roman Reigns look strong. Not to say the cliche of Reigns looking strong, but he does need to look strong next week. They have to rebound with him on the following Raw.
Roman Reigns needs to look like a fucking star. And when I see him right now, I don't see a star. And it's an absolute shame that this is the guy that WWE is telling us that or at least they want. All indications point to him being the top guy in WWE, them wanting to place him in that face of the company position, and I don't see that right now. And it's so weird the way that they are booking him. Something is going on. And maybe I know what's going on, and you guys stay tuned to pwfempire.com and youtube.com/pwfempire because we got something coming later on in the week for you guys. But there is some fuckery abound. That's all I'm gonna say, because something is not right. Something is off. The milk ain't clean. Okay. Anything more on this subject, guys?
Nope.
Alrighty, so from this point, we're going to pivot into the kayfabe tier list. This is a visual tracker created by our very own Steven to track the mobility of certain members of WWE's roster in terms of credibility and presentation. This is the post-Fastlane edition of the kayfabe tier list. So let's go ahead and throw that up there right now. As you can see, Daniel Bryan is retired, so this is going to be his last appearance on the kayfabe tier list, and I had to put him in the A+ tier just to, because like he retires as an A+, so I had to go for that little sentimental moment right there.
I will say that Daniel Bryan at the end of his push was probably the most credible guy on the roster. He had beaten John Cena clean. He had beaten Triple H clean. He had beaten Randy Orton and Batista clean, which was basically the entire main event roster at the time. So he was the most credible guy. That was until certain downfalls happened, but at the end of that, he was on top. So I think he does belong in the A+ when he goes out.
So a farewell to Daniel Bryan, the eternal A+ player. Now, I want to discuss something interesting on the kayfabe tier list because we get a lot of questions every single time the kayfabe tier list is posted, because you see the grades A+, A-, B+. All of that is very easy to understand. We all went to school, we got that stuff down. But there is a very special portion of that kayfabe tier list right there, and Brock Lesnar stands alone in his own tier, the S tier. Could you go ahead and give us a quick explanation as to what the S tier is?
That is basically the Undertaker tier, and the reason why the Undertaker is not in that tier anymore and Brock Lesnar is because Brock Lesnar beat the Undertaker.
Beat his ass.
So, yeah, the only reason that exists is because of the Undertaker. Otherwise, Lesnar would be another A+, because Undertaker was the only guy so above and beyond the rest of the roster that beating him puts you in your own league. Otherwise, he would be in his own league. And I did have him with Lesnar up there for a while until I sort of felt like his credibility waned a little bit. But yeah, that's what the S tier is. It all it means is that he is on his own level in terms of credibility.
And
so
he
it means
absolutely
special.
is.
It means super. So.
It means super. Yeah.
And he absolutely is on his own level. There's no question about that.
It means he's broken, because the tier list is a callback to fighting games, and usually when you get your own tier like that, it kind of means you're broken. So if this was like a video game, Lesnar would be banned. You couldn't play him in competitive play.
Okay, so here's the reason why I asked you to explain what the S tier was. Because now we saw on Monday Night Raw that Dean Ambrose will face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And while I'm excited for that match, specifically speaking on the kayfabe tier list, in my own opinion, I believe that Dean Ambrose, with the place that he's positioned in right now, going up against a person like Brock Lesnar, whether Brock Lesnar wins or loses against Dean Ambrose, I just think that this match seems very pedestrian for a person like Brock Lesnar. And like I said, win or lose, I think that position in the S tier is at threat.
I can understand why you would say that, but you have to look. First of all, it's a no holds barred match. So if this was a straight up singles match, also if you hear someone screaming in the background, that's my brother. It's kind of making me laugh here.
Your brother's screaming because Brock Lesnar is in jeopardy at the top of the tier list. That's the problem.
If this was a straight-up wrestling match, then yeah, Dean Ambrose would have no chance. It's a no-holds-barred match, and we know that's one of Brock Lesnar's weaknesses, especially if he brings out the stairs. That's when you know Brock is in trouble, because both of his losses in the WWE have been at the hands of stairs. First, the FU onto the stairs by the hand of John Cena, and then the pedigree onto the stairs at the hand of Triple H. So if he brings out the stairs, Brock better run.
Now, would you say, based off of the fact that the logic behind Brock Lesnar being lifted to this level has everything to do with him beating the prestige of Undertaker? Now, if Ambrose beats him in this match, does that now put Ambrose above everyone else, or does that just simply move him up to A+?
Yeah, okay, so when it comes to that, I usually do it... It's all contextual. So if Ambrose were to beat Lesnar, I would probably put Ambrose in A+, and then I would put
Brock in A+ too.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
So nobody would be above anyone else.
See, that's why we can't have Dean Ambrose beat Brock Lesnar. Like we can't have this happen because you basically make the S tier extinct.
Well, look, that's only if he beats him clean. If he beats him via some shenanigans, I'm not gonna really. I'll probably put Ambrose in A+, but I won't put Lesnar in A+ unless he loses clean. You know?
See, my thing is, the reason why I brought this up is because I look at this match and I see the story is not Brock Lesnar here. The story is on Dean Ambrose. I think Dean Ambrose, win or lose, the story is going to be all about him. It's not about simply Brock Lesnar getting into the ring and beating the shit out of somebody. It's about Dean Ambrose surviving a beating. If that makes sense.
Ambrose needs
that.
But here's my thing though. Like, that dulls some of the shine that Brock Lesnar possesses. Like, this is going to be amazing for Dean Ambrose, because I can see it in my head right now. Dean Ambrose getting the shit beat out of him, but then he, stumbles and, pulls himself up by the ropes to get to his feet, and the crowd goes wild for him. So no matter what happens in this match, if WWE handles it just straightforward, you don't even have to do anything special. I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt and saying straightforward, just tell a straight story. Dean Ambrose is going to come out of this with a rocket strapped to his ass. But with the fact that it is focused on getting Dean Ambrose over, I think that takes away a little bit from Brock Lesnar. Like, could you see this as the moment that we've all been waiting for when it comes to Brock? Because we've all talked about who is going to defeat Brock Lesnar? When is that moment finally going to happen? Could this possibly be that moment?
No, I don't think Ambrose is going to beat Lesnar clean.
I don't think he beats him at all necessarily. I think that what we're going to get here is, I mean, again, not to go off with predictions, but I really think that what this is meant to accomplish is to show you the toughness, the tenacity, the deranged lunacy that is Dean Ambrose. We're supposed to really, I think this can really be like a character development build type of loss. I don't know how else to describe it. I guess you could. This is a really bad comparison in my own opinion, and I'm sure many will agree. But you know how Stone Cold losing that match to Bret Hart did so much for him. I think that this could do something for Dean Ambrose. I'm not saying that it can do for Dean Ambrose what that loss did for Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I'm just saying that it's the fight in Ambrose that will get him that much further. Because I do really think they have some true plans for Dean Ambrose if they are going to put him against Brock Lesnar. They're not doing this for no reason. They're doing this because they see something in him. I also felt like there was quite a bit of focus on him in that triple threat match at Fastlane, which also, to me, was the first real indicator that they want to truly do something with this guy. And I love it.
Alrighty, what else do I see from this kayfabe tier list? We got Titus O'Neil in the C+ tier with his little go to jail symbol right there. That's a from the Monopoly game, go to jail. That stands for suspension there. I see the League of Nations, fucking terrible. This was a terrible outing for them. They sunk.
They deserve to go into the go away category. But
I see Alberto Del Rio, Rusev. They dropped down to B. King Barrett dropped down to, what is it, C?
Yeah. And somehow the Social Outcasts have moved up a little bit too. Yeah, they've actually won a couple matches, so it does make sense. They have won a couple of matches.
Okay, well, speaking of the Social Outcasts, that's it for this edition of the Kayfabe Tier List. Once again, great work, Steven. Now I'm going to turn it over to you because you have a swerve. I'm interested to see what this is about, so the floor is yours.
Yeah, I have a swerve. I'm going to turn heel on the Social Outcasts because these guys have stolen the New Day's gimmick. They are redundant on this roster right now. They do the same exact act, except they're not as good. They're okay. I'm not saying they're terrible. They're kind of funny. You know, they have their characters going on. But they perform the same function as the New Day. They get involved in people. They be annoying. They do the thing where they come out and they cut a promo down the ramp. They dance in the ring. They shout their name. Like, how is this not just another New Day, except worse?
I can tell you how it's not another New Day. It's not funny. It's not entertaining.
This strikes me as look, this is just me talking out of my ass because I don't know, but I feel like Vince McMahon, you know how he wanted to make the New Day like preachers or whatever it is he wanted, all these stereotypes, and then the New Day completely took that and they made like a very original act out of it, something that we've never quite seen before from guys like this. I feel like Vince McMahon almost feels like he made that, and now he's like, I got a great idea for a stable. We're gonna take these guys and we're gonna make them goofballs. They're gonna be a stable. Like this almost seems like, you know, after Chris Jericho did the 2008 Y2 Serious gimmick, and then all the heels started to be serious and wear a suit and talk in a monotone. Now it's like the New Day just made this goofball thing, and now all the factions are gonna be goofballs. That's how I feel what's going on here, and I feel like the Social Outcasts are just redundant. They have no place on the roster with this act. They're doing the same thing the New Day does, except they're not as funny or as good or as valuable. And I almost feel like the League of Nations is a third New Day because they're kind of goofballs too at this point. But I'll say that they're just the mid-card mafia, but the Social Outcasts are the real problem here.
See, when it comes to the Social Outcasts, like I asked the question on Twitter, like, are these guys intended to be funny, or are they like in on the joke, or like are they in on the fact that they fucking suck? And like I don't know, because like I don't know if WWE wants me to laugh at the Social Outcasts.
Well, they're
or
winning
not,
matches, so I don't think that's how it's supposed to be.
Oh well. I'm not laughing. Like, I look at them and shout out to DJ Cass from the Raw post show. Like, he said that he bought the Social Outcast t-shirt from WWE shop and it was on the way to the house. I was like, well, I'm thinking to myself, like, you need to move then, because like I don't know why like I don't even like, why are they a thing? I don't get it. Like, what is this? What is life?
Well, my theory is that that's Vince McMahon thinking he's made the New Day while forgetting that the New Day is still on the roster.
Oh God!
But I could be wrong about that. That's just how it strikes me.
Well, alrighty, guys, that is it for this episode of PWF Empire Live. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you back here, same place, same time next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on PWFempire.com and YouTube.com/PWF Empire. Until then, catch you on the flip side. Peace out.